A woman stumbles into a dark room. She finds a man sleeping soundly in bed. Slowly, she climbs in beside him, tracing the lines of his face with her eyes. She leans closer, running her hand over his chest, pulling his robe open. Her face registers confusion, then determination. She continues her advance, caressing his neck. His eyes snap open, his hand shooting out to grab her wrist. He speaks, and her confident expression crumbles into shock. But only for a moment she recovers, leaning in to touch his lips, a curious look in her eyes. He speaks again, his words stopping her cold. He grabs her hand forcefully, but then pulls her into a deep kiss. In another room, an older woman pleads with a younger woman. Tears in her eyes, the younger woman sits stoically, her face a mask of indifference. The man, now dressed in a suit, watches them from a distance. He finally speaks, a look of resolve on his face. The older woman's face floods with relief. The younger woman confronts the man, her expression defiant. He remains silent, his gaze unblinking. The scene flashes back to the bedroom. The first woman on top of him, their kiss growing more desperate, more passionate. He pushes her away, but she pulls him back, and he surrenders. The next morning, the woman wakes up, a look of pure horror spreading across her face as she realizes what happened. She clutches the sheets to her body, scrambling out of bed. As she tries to sneak out of the room, the man blocks the door, his eyes locking onto hers with a cold intensity. He blocks her path, slamming her against the glass door, trapping her. His eyes burn with questions. She struggles against his grip, tears welling in her eyes. His words are a low growl. She flinches, but her fear quickly hardens into defiance. He releases his grip, his expression turning cool and calculating. She seems to understand. A silent deal is struck between them. He pulls her into a rough kiss, pushing her onto the bathroom counter. Her legs wrap around him. He carries her out, throwing her onto the bed, and comes down on top of her. The woman sits in bed, lost in thought as the man showers, his silhouette a blur behind frosted glass. She touches a mark on her neck, her expression unreadable. A memory surfaces. 13 years ago, she watches him on a basketball court, a hopeful smile on her face. She approaches with a bottle of water, but another girl beats her to it. Her smile fades, replaced by quiet disappointment. She turns and walks away. Another memory. She sees him walking through a courtyard. She runs, pretending to bump into him, their books scattering across the ground. As they kneel to pick them up, their hands brush. A spark ignites in her eyes. Back in the present, the man emerges from the bathroom, buttoning his shirt. He makes a phone call, his back to her. After hanging up, he walks over, holding out his hand for her phone. She hesitates, then hands it over. He types something, then tosses it back onto the bed before walking out without a word. She picks it up. A friend request from him on the screen. Downstairs, he checks his phone. Seeing she's accepted, her profile picture is a photo of her from high school. He stares at the image for a long moment, then turns and leaves. The man arrives at a dinner party, taking a seat at a large table. His eyes meet the woman's, and she freezes in shock. The man who hosted the party gestures toward her, but she can only stare. He remains impassive, ignoring her as she stands to introduce herself. Another woman at the table smirks, her eyes flickering between the two of them. She starts a rumor, whispering that the man is only on this project to be near someone he likes. The other guests start to gossip, trying to guess who it could be. The first woman's hands tremble, her composure cracking. The second woman looks directly at her, a predatory smile on her face, and then speaks to her directly. The woman is stunned into silence, her eyes darting to the man, who still refuses to acknowledge her. The woman sits in a cafe with her friend, her expression downcast. Her friend tries to comfort her, taking her hand, but the woman is lost in thought. She pulls out her phone, staring at her chat with the man. A call comes in from him. Her friend notices a mark on her neck and gasps, but the woman quickly silences her, answering the phone with a shaky voice. He tells her the director wants to see her, and her friend celebrates after the call. She types a simple, "Thank you," message, then watches as the typing indicator appears and disappears. Her friend pulls her out of her seat, excited to go shopping for a new outfit. Later, she arrives back at the dinner party. Looking elegant in a white dress, she takes a seat, and another actress starts to flatter her, trying to make friends. The woman toasts with her, a polite smile on her face. The actress then introduces her to a man, the main investor. The man's eyes linger on her, a greedy smile spreading across his face as the actress whispers something in his ear. The host announces that another important guest is on their way, the actor playing the second male lead. The door opens and the man walks in, the same man from the bedroom. The woman's eyes widen in disbelief. It's him. The woman's rival mentions a photo of her that a friend uses as his phone wallpaper, a detail that sends a jolt through her. Rival excuses herself to take a call, and the investor seizes the opportunity. He moves closer to the woman, his hand lingering on her shoulder. She flinches. She stands to make a toast, hoping to create some distance, but he follows her, his hand still on her. She excuses herself to go to the restroom, and he follows her out. He corners her in the restroom, his hands all over her. She tries to push him away, but he's too strong. He offers her a leading role in his next movie, then presses a hotel key card into her hand, trying to drag her away. Just as the investor tries to drag the woman away, his phone rings. It's his wife, he answers, his voice dripping with false sweetness, but she's not buying it. He quickly makes his excuses and leaves. The woman leans against the sink. Shaken, trying to compose herself, she washes her hands obsessively, as if trying to scrub away his touch. She looks at her reflection, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination, then walks out of the restroom, her head held high. She sees the man walking towards her in the hallway. A flicker of uncertainty crosses her face, but they pass each other without a word, a silent tension hanging in the air. He stops her, his voice low. He tells her he didn't take any precautions the night before, and she assures him she's taken care of it. She thanks him for the acting role, but he dismisses her. His words like a slap in the face. Back in the restroom, the investor is furious. He hands a waiter a wad of cash, telling him to drug the woman's drink. The man stands by the window, smoking, watching the waiter approach the woman with a glass of juice. She takes a sip, and he calls out to her. He walks over, his eyes cold, and taps his cigarette over her glass, dropping the ash into her drink. He takes the glass from her, his expression unreadable, and walks away. She watches him go, a mix of confusion and relief on her face. In another room, the investor is playing cards with the director and some actresses. The man enters, holding a glass of juice. He places it on the table, the cigarette butts floating inside, and tells the investor to drink it. The investor laughs it off, but the man's gaze is cold and unwavering. He tells the investor he's not in the mood for jokes, and that he knows what's in the drink. The director tries to intervene, but the man cuts him off, his voice sharp. He offers the director double bear-ass prey, then triple the investment to cancel his contract with the investor. The director hesitates, then takes the money. The man turns back to the investor, his eyes blazing with fury. He warns him to stay away from people he shouldn't be interested in, and not to harm those he shouldn't harm. He smashes a bottle over the investor's head, sending glass flying. The investor cries out in pain, blood streaming down his face. The man leans in close, his voice a low threat, promising this is only the beginning. The driver pulls to a stop. He turns to the girl in the back seat. She looks at him, then exits the car. She slides open a bedroom door and freezes. The CEO is sitting up in bed, looking at a tablet. Her eyes go wide with shock. He looks up at her, his expression cold and unreadable. She looks flustered, trying to compose herself. She walks over to the bed, grabs a giant teddy bear, and places it between them like a wall. She lies down, turning her back to him. The bear lets out a squeak. The CEO glares at it, then gets out of bed. He walks to the balcony, his face etched with sorrow. A single tear escapes and rolls down his cheek. A flashback begins. The CEO stands with his mother. She speaks to him with a harsh tone. He watches the girl laughing with a young photographer in the distance. The mother continues her verbal assault. The CEO's jaw clenches. His hand tightens into a fist. He looks down in defeat. His mother's words are like daggers. He finally looks up, his eyes filled with pain as he defends himself. He watches the happy couple, a look of pure agony on his face. Back in the present, the CEO cries silently on the balcony. He returns to the bedroom, gently pulling the blanket over the sleeping girl. He lies down beside her. In her sleep, she rolls over, placing her hand on his chest. He grabs her wrist, his eyes closed in torment. She suddenly wakes up, her eyes wide with confusion. The CEO tightens his grip on her wrist. His words are sharp and cruel. The girl flinches, her eyes filling with confusion and hurt. She tries to explain, but he cuts her off with a cold stare. She offers to leave the bed, to sleep somewhere else, but this only seems to anger him more. He pulls her back down with a sudden jerk, looming over her. His face is inches from hers, a storm of anger in his eyes. He pins her down, his voice a low growl. He leans in, crushing his lips against hers in a rough kiss. She cries out. The girl gently places a cool cloth on the CEO's forehead. She checks his temperature, her face etched with worry. The thermometer reads 39.5 degrees. She tries to give him medicine and water, but he's too weak to swallow. In a moment of desperation, she puts the pill and water in her own mouth, leaning down to give it to him. The act turns into a soft, lingering kiss. He stirs in his sleep, pulling her closer, and kisses her back. They fall asleep wrapped in each other's arms. The next morning, the girl wakes up, held tightly by the CEO, and he looks down at her, his gaze soft. Suddenly, she jolts awake, scrambling out of the bed in a panic. She tries to explain, flustered, but he just looks at her. He thanks her for taking care of him. She searches for her phone, but instead finds his under the pillow. The screen is lit up, showing a picture of another girl in a school uniform. Just then, the CEO walks out of the bathroom. The CEO snatches the phone from her, his expression unreadable. He grabs her phone from the nightstand, handing it to her without a word. He tells her to get dressed, then walks out. She looks at her reflection in the bathroom mirror, her heart heavy. A flashback begins. A younger version of the girl stands in the pouring rain. The CEO, also a student, runs up and shields her with his jacket. They stand close under the small shelter. Suddenly, a car speeds by, splashing a huge wave of water. He instinctively pulls her into a tight embrace. Protecting her from a splash, they freeze, his arms wrapped around her. Back in the present, the CEO appears in the mirror behind her. dressed in a suit. They ride in the back of a car in silence. The girl leans forward, asking the driver to stop the car. The CEO looks at her, annoyed. She explains her reasoning, but he dismisses it with a cold remark. He then orders the driver to stop. As she prepares to exit, he suddenly gets out too, grabbing an umbrella, leaving her completely bewildered. The girl sits at a makeup station, getting her hair and makeup done. Another actress sits nearby. She offers the girl a coffee, smiling sweetly, but the girl politely declines. The actress's smile falters, turning into a sneer. She begins to mock the girl, her words dripping with condescension. The other people in the room join in, their whispers and glances like tiny needles. The girl sits in silence, enduring their taunts, until she finally snaps. She picks up the coffee, her voice cold and steady, and calls the actress a bitch. The room falls silent. All eyes on them. The girl stands her ground, her voice sharp with defiance. She tells the actress that being new doesn't mean she's stupid. The actress's assistant jumps in, defending her boss, but the girl shuts her down with a single cutting remark. Just then, a woman walks in, carrying bags of drinks and snacks. She announces that the girl has bought treats for everyone. The room erupts in cheers. The actress is left speechless, her face a mask of fury. The girl smirks, handing the actress a box of pastries. She then turns on her heel and walks away, leaving the actress seething. As she walks, she passes the CEO, who has been watching the entire exchange, her eyes locking with the CEO's. She looks away, flustered, and walks towards him. A woman offers him a bag of pastries, but he waves her off, asking the girl if she's eaten. He then tells the woman to give the bag to the girl, but she refuses. He insists, his gaze fixed on her. She finally takes the bag, her cheeks flushed. He turns and walks away without another word. Back in the dressing room, the girl eats one of the pastries. Her friend looks at the receipt. She tells the girl that the order was placed under her name and phone number. The girl is stunned. She didn't order them. A flashback begins. The CEO and his friend are walking down a street. His friend stops in front of a pastry shop. He tells the CEO that this is the girl's favorite place and goes inside to buy some for her. The CEO's expression is unreadable, as his friend talks about the girl's difficult past, how she lost her parents and is now living with her aunt and uncle, who treat her like a commodity. He tells the CEO that her aunt won't let her eat sweets or pursue her dream of acting. The CEO's eyes soften with empathy. Back in the present, the CEO stands alone in his room, smoking. He picks up a single peach blossom pastry, his mind filled with memories. He remembers everything his friend told him, everything the girl loves, and everything she's been denied.